Good evening, Mark. How you doing, bud? How's everything going on in good old Indiana? Let's get some people on here and we'll take off from there, bud. Yep, same here, bud. Phones are dropping here. We're starting to see quite a few of them. And the food plots are doing awesome with all this rain. Good evening, Doug Lamb. Good to see you on here, bud. Wait and see if we're going to get any of these storms or anything coming in. Got guys blowing my phones up right now on food plot stuff. It might just be a few of us on here tonight. I don't blame everybody. It's beautiful out. A little windy here, but beautiful. Scott, good to see you on here, man. See if anybody else wants to jump on, then we'll fire this thing up. Another pretty easy topic to talk about tonight. Mark, the trip north was good. A lot of video content. Spent 3 days of filming with Deertopia and podcasts with Deer and Deer Hunting Magazine. Then went by Todd's place, the founder of Antler King, went by his place and filmed a real nice series that's going to run 6 weeks in a row. Getting it all edited up right now. It's going to work out really, really well. So, and pretty fun doing it as well. Beautiful weather, not too hot, not too cold. Actually, up at Todd's is just perfect for a little campfire, and we sat around the campfire and did kind of a campfire talk on just tips for everybody, things people should do, not to do, similar to what we do here. But it was around the campfire, pretty good deal. Now getting ready to take off for Georgia here in a few weeks. Got some filming with Sydney Wells and her fiance, and then going over and hopefully we can make it work till we can jump over a couple hours and meet up with the guys from Backwoods Life. So I'm actually trying right now myself to get out of jury duty so I can do this trip. We've had this thing set up for months, and then I get a summons for jury duty to be there the day before I'm supposed to be at the film shoot in Georgia. So waiting for a letter back to see if they let me go or not. Rick Stillman, good to see you on here, bud. Well, we got a few of us on here. We just will fire this thing up. I won't take too much of your time tonight. This is actually a very, very easy and pretty simple little topic tonight in maintaining your perennial plots. I mean, there's only so much you can do, but there's a lot more that you can do with perennials than you can with annuals. So Works out very well. You know, the key thing most people have with their perennial plots, especially a brand new plot, is weed and grass control. You know, that's the biggest thing. We spoke about that, I think, on every single one we have talked this year on these podcasts, with using the clethodim for grass control, using the 2,4-DB, the Boot Rack 200, which is my favorite for the broadleaf control. Works very, very well. You can jump up there in the price, and if you're wanting to spray weeds and grass together, IMOX is one of the best you can buy. You're going to pay for it, but one of the best you can get for total control with one spraying. So works very, very well. But again, you're talking a lot more money than what the Cleth and the Boot Rack 200 is going to cost you. And the Cleth, the Boot Rack 200 will go a lot longer too, per gallon. But no, that is the biggest issue that most people have with an existing plot or starting a new one, is the weed and grass control. Usually you get into your perennials, your second, your third year, really into your third year, you start losing a lot of that. Then weeds and grasses, just because of clovers. If your soil's healthy and the plants are healthy, then weeds and grasses are going to start diminishing. You're not going to see as much. But it takes a healthy plot to do that. So same way with starting a plot, by maintaining it, you still want to maintain and check your pH. Make sure that pH is good. You know, add the lime to it. You know, you could be like me and go in there in December, January, put your lime down so the breakdown will be there for your spring plantings, and still go back in through there June and July, and I'll check my pH just to see where it's at. If I need to add some, I'm going to go right over top them plots and add it. So just because you checked it in the winter prior or in the spring that you're planting, don't think you might not need to check it again. See what them levels are. See if it did what it's supposed to. I mean, it's key. You got to have a healthy plot. The healthier the plot, the less weeds and grass issue, the less maintenance you're going to have, but the more mowing you're going to have. So as in cutting them plots, anytime that flower comes on that clover, that alfalfa, that chicory, 99% of the time, if you're planting chicory with a mix such as our trophy clover or Booner Buffet, you'll never see the chicory flower, because the clovers are going to flower sooner and the alfalfa is going to flower sooner than the chicory. So you never see that chicory flower. But now if you're like me and plant straight chicory, you're going to see that flower come on. And that's the tattletale sign. You want to get in there and mow it. I know there was a lot of controversy online everywhere. Don't mow your plots, mow your plots. I'm telling you right now, guys, if you want the healthiest plot, you want the most palatable, and if you want the highest protein level, you got to mow them plots when they flower. I mean, that's a fact. I mean, I'll take it to the bank. I mean, that's how I've always done it. That's how we've tested it. And the protein levels are so much greater when you mow that plot. They get back up there. You look at trophy clover, you're looking at 30% protein. Again, it's a 30% protein if your soil's healthy to make a healthy plant. So the less healthier soil, the lower your protein rate is going to be, the lower the palatability is going to be for that plant. So getting that soil where it needs to be, and then maintaining these plants, plants, however you want to put it, is key. You got to maintain them. If you walk away from them, they will get to be a woolly mess. They get stemmy. Will the deer still eat some of them? Yeah, they still eat them. Are they getting the nutritional value they need? Not at all. So it's one of them things that about like checking your pH. A lot of people don't want to do it. A lot of people plant clover. They don't want to mow it. You can kind of look at that way. Again, if you want the best out of what you're planting, if you're wanting the best buck for what you got, what you're paying, I mean, you're paying good money to plant, let's say an acre clover, you're paying a pretty good chunk of money to plant that clover. If you're doing the soil right, adding the lime, you're adding the fertilizer, you got a pretty good chunk of money wrapped up in this plot. So make it as healthy as it can be. Just because your soil's healthy doesn't mean that plant's going to be healthy unless you maintain it. So you got to maintain that. And the best thing about it is the more you cut that clover and that alfalfa, the thicker it's going to get and the more it's going to smother them weeds and grasses out, and it's less weed and grass issues you got to worry about. So when it comes to maintaining, right now, this is the perfect time for this podcast, because all my phone calls right now are on liquid fertilizer and Plot Max. I mean, they are going crazy. I can't tell you how many of them I received today. A lot of them on Plot Max. So I thought I'd touch on that a little bit. You know, a lot of guys is looking at Plot Max, which is right here, the Plot Max soil conditioner. A lot of guys are looking at it, and they're calling me up, and they're wanting to know how high the pH is going to get. It states on that bottle it will spike the pH, but it also states that it is not a pH enhancer. The reason we put that on there is because it's humic acid. It will spike the pH. It will help with your germination, but it's not a pH enhancer. It will not keep, it's not intended to take away from lime. You want to put lime down to get that pH up. This Plot Max will spike it, but it's a soil conditioner. It's made to break down the soil. You can spray it prior to planting or after planting. So don't be confused and think you're buying a so-called liquid calcium. It's not that. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. But humic acid will spike that soil for a short period of time. It will help with germination and everything, but you really want to get in there and get that lime on. One great way to use Plot Max, especially for the guys that are limited in time. Let's say that you're going in there. Let's say you got a 5.8, 6.0 soil, you know, your pH of your soil. You can only get in there and put the lime on prior to planting, right when you're getting ready to plant. So you go in there and put it down, knowing that if you're using pelletized lime, it's going to take 3 months to break down. Using ag lime, it's going to take 6 months. So you're not doing the plants a lot of good at that time. That's where the Plot Max will help, as in break down that soil, spike that pH during germination time, and help them plants get going. And then eventually your pH is going to start breaking down and start helping that soil and plants as well. Then it'll let it utilize the fertilizer you're going to put on it. And more so than other. I mean, the higher you can get that up, the closer you can get to that 7.0 neutral. That's where you're going to get that 100% utilization out of the fertilizer. So make sure that you're not using the Plot Max just to raise your pH, because it is not going to do that. It will do it for a short period of time, but that's it. It's going to go right away. So now the clover fuel, big time question right now. A lot of them are asking, perfect for the maintenance. Can you mix it in with herbicides? Absolutely. You mix it right in with a herbicide. So does it need does it need a surfactant? No, it does not, but a surfactant will help, but it does not need one. And a lot of them are asking, if I'm using a herbicide with a surfactant, is it going to hurt the clover fuel? No, it will not. It will not hurt the jolt. It will not hurt the Plot Max. You can put the Plot Max and the clover fuel right together and spray it by itself, or you can put it together with your herbicides and spray it as one pass as well. And, kill your grasses, kill your weeds, whichever one you're doing. And with the Plot Max, you're going to condition the soil. The clover fuel, you're going to fertilize the plants. And in doing so, you're going to help in the aid of that plant bouncing back so much better, because even though you're using a select herbicide, it will stun that plant. It will stun your clover. Let's just say we're dealing with clover right now. It will stun that clover. It will turn it a little brown. It will put little yellow dots on it. It brown up the leaves a little bit. Couple weeks, it's bounced right back. You can't even tell you ever did it again. So when you're using a liquid fertilizer like the clover fuel on that clover, the same time you're spraying a herbicide, that plant will bounce back. Within a week, it's bounced right back. So it just really shortens up that time. So it's a great thing to do anytime you're spraying any kind of herbicide, no matter if you're spraying a grass control on your annual plots in the fall that don't have grass species in them, but the grass is taking over. Mix a Jolden with it. It does the exact same thing to the annuals as it will the perennials with the clover fuel. So always remember, it's not going to hurt, You can mix it with any of them. It doesn't matter if you use a surfactant or not. Now with your herbicides, I want you using a surfactant, but it doesn't matter if you use one or not if you're just using straight clover fuel or Plot Max or Jolt. See what kind of questions we got here. Mike, good to see you on here, bud. Scott, I apologize. It says, does that apply to straight clover plot? I don't know which part you're talking about, bud. I can't look at these while I'm talking because I can't do two things at once. I don't know which one it was, man. Yes, Scott. Yes, mow it when it flowers. Yes. Mark, you're exactly right. Just like mowing your yard. If you don't, the weeds will take over. Old John, he's on a call for jury duty too. Man, I feel sorry for you, bud. Mike's talking here. I'm in Illinois and I mowed my trophy clover yesterday for the first time because it had flowered. When should I spray the weeds and grasses, or should I? It depends if it needs it, bud. I try to tell people if the plot doesn't need a herbicide, don't spray it. But if you have weed and grass issues, then that's when you want to spray it. So what I like to do, Mike, and I know it's too late for this go around, but what I like doing is if I see that I have some grass issues or if I have some weed issues, I will go in there and apply the herbicides prior to mowing to give them a good dose. Then I will come back in about usually a week, use that next weekend. I'll usually do it on a weekend, come back the next weekend, and then I will mow that plot down. Even though that grasses and then weeds might not be, since they were a slow releasing agent, the select herbicides, even though they're still green and they're not really yelling up and dying yet, it's already to the root system. So when you mow it, that really just chops all that up. It's going to kill it at the root, keep continuing at the root, and then your clover or alfalfa, whichever one you're doing, but what you are, you're doing the trophy clover. It'll just help it bounce back. So I like spraying prior to mowing. I don't like now with you, if you have a grass problem now and you have mowed, I would wait a week or so, let them plants heal up because them clovers are cut wide open right now. So I've done it both ways. I haven't seen that big of a difference on spraying what I call a cut clover. To me though, I've seen it take a little longer, use about another week or so to bounce back really good. To me, it's like an open wound on your arm. You don't want to get nothing in it. So I'd rather you spray it after them clovers heal themselves back up if you need to. But from now on, spray it prior to mowing it, give it about 5 days and then mow it, and it works very, very well. Scott's talking about Canadian thistle growing in a wheat field. Buddy, you're going to need to spot spray it. That's the bad thing right there. Spot spray it or cut it out. And I know you say you got a bunch of it. That stuff is horrible. But yeah, you need to spot spray that. Make sure I'm not missing anybody here. Nope, looks like we're good there. But no, there's not a lot there. Again, there's not a lot there that we need to really go over, except what I've already went over on the maintenance part. The healthiness of the soil and plant is number one, guys. I mean, that is the number one thing that you want to make sure that you can obtain is get that soil as healthy as you can. That will allow that plant to be as healthy as it can. as long as you apply food to them. They need to eat. Them plants have to eat. So, I mean, the proper fertilizer, you can get back in there with, your 0060, which is my number one, or a 02020. You can get right back in there with that. You can top some off if you think them plants look like they're a little hungry. And what I mean by that is usually you can tell if the plants start to yellow maybe a little bit, a little curling at the leaves. A drought type situation do the exact same thing. So make sure you're getting plenty of moisture. But if you are getting good moisture and you're starting to see some of that, that's pretty much a telltale sign that them plants are hungry and they're starting to starve. You want to give them a little more food. So you can go in with a clover fuel, work out perfect. If you're a granular type person, which there's nothing wrong with it, because I use both. The granular will feed them as well too, as long as you're getting the moisture to break it down. So, I mean, either way, them plants have to eat and they have to drink. That's the only way they're going to survive in a healthy soil. Is going to just make them. It's going to allow for sweeter plants, most palatable. It's going to the highest protein levels and the highest tonnage. So you look at the trophy clover plot, and a lot of people think it's crazy, but you look at a plot with a 7.0 pH, feeding them everything they need to be fed, good soil, and you're looking at about 10 tons per acre at about 30% in a growing state. So them plots will offer more, that trophy clover offer more tonnage than anything else you're going to plant, as long as you can have it healthy. So when the soil starts dropping down, the food starts dropping down a little bit, your tonnage and your protein levels are going to go right with it. So it's pretty much, if you want the best out of it, you need to feed it and feed the soil as well. Mark Coleman, how do you mow and not run over baby deer? Any tips? But that's a hard one to do. Especially you get in with this trophy clover, like a 2 to 3 year old plot that, I mean, can be 18 to 20 inches tall when it flowers. I mean, it is very tough. Now, on a tractor, it's even tougher. What I have found, and you have seen me do it a million times, I love using my pull behind mower on my three-wheeler. I can sit on that three-wheeler and see very well in front of me. And now, them little fawns, you got to watch them. Have I ran over some? Yes, I have. I've had some scare the living daylights out of me too. But I usually will get mowing and get my first spot. And usually what I try doing, I start in the center of a plot and I'll mow outwards to the woods. So I will start in the center and I'll go down. I'll make my loop, come right back down, then I come over to the next one, go up, and I just keep making that plot wider and wider and wider. And what I have found in that is if you do get them little fawns to stand up, they will usually get out in that open grass. I've had spots where I've actually mowed around fawns on a couple of my plots. One in particular, I do it every year. I will mow around a fawn or two. They will not move for me. I literally got to get up and get out there. I take a pair of gloves with me every time I go because I've actually had to get up and push them deer away from there to get out of that, to run off. And 99% of the time, they'll run right to the edge of the woods and bed right back down. But last year with Stacy, I actually had to pick one up. He would not move. I had to pick him up. So I put my gloves on, grabbed a hold of him, picked him up. He squalled on me, and I went over, set him down the edge, and he laid right there. And I mowed all afternoon with him. He did not care. But on a tractor or something like that, very tough. Zero turn mower, a little easier. But when you get into that real tall clover, zero turn mower is not your best friend because it just don't mow as well. So it's just very, very, very tough. But my three-wheeler is the best eyes I got because the four-wheeler or side-by-side is just, I can't see out in front of me. So, but that's a very good thing to bring up, Mark. I appreciate that, but it's tough. And right now we got them dropping like crazy. So, a very good topic there, bud. See if I'm missing somebody here. Since we're talking about talking about clover, I could probably wait and do this one on a different show, but I'm just going to bring something up here for you guys. And it's something that I see happening all the time. And some of you guys might even do it. I've done it. There's a lot of people out there, and I get the phone calls. Why should I buy clover with a deer on the bag over just going down to the co-op, buy me some white clover, buy me some red clover, mix it together, plant it? Well, number one, if you ever plant them side by side, you'll see the difference. But are you aware on how many different strains of clover there is? And when I mean that, I mean, let's say white clover. How many do you think there is? There is a bunch. How many red clovers? There's a bunch. Ladino, arrowleaf, a bunch. So when you go to that ag store, and let's just say you want to go there and I want to buy 3 pounds of white clover. Was that white clover made for hay, lawn, livestock? What's it made for? The difference in a good white clover made for wildlife, for deer, is if you ever go out into a pasture mix and look at white clover in a pasture mix, you'll see it's real big and stemmy. Deer don't like that. Will they eat it? Yeah, but they don't like it. And they don't get to store it properly as well. They like that lush, smaller, flimsier type clovers with the bigger leaves. The biggest thing's the stems. And I get asked all the time, why? Well, if you look at a deer stomach, therefore stomach's just like a cow. That first chamber in a cow is so much bigger, where he can take so much more of that stemmier stuff and really process it the way it needs to be processed. Where a deer's first chamber is so much smaller. It's so small, they cannot process that big, heavy, stemmy stuff. And usually what happens, it goes in one end and right out the other. So they're not storing it properly to get the benefit out of it. So when we test clovers, we know what strands we're looking for, and we know what the deer are looking for, and we know the percentages on how to put them together so they don't compete with each other. I know this has nothing to do with maintaining your plots, but in some ways it does, because if you pick the wrong varieties, the deer are never going to get out of them what you want them to. So yeah, maybe you're going to go out and buy a bag of trophy clover mix for $30 for a half acre. You're looking at 3.5 pounds. You might be able to go to your local co-op and buy clover for $3 a pound. But what are you actually getting? What was it actually developed for? So this kind of little thing I wanted to throw out there just to let people know. And the same thing goes with turnips, radishes, all kinds of different varieties. But clover is a big one. A lot of people just think, I want white clover. What strand do you want? And they think you're crazy. Well, there's only one. It's white. No. If you ever look at some white clovers, there's white clovers out there that have purple flowers on them. So it just depends on what you're looking for and what you're wanting out of it to pick the proper thing. So just a little educational thing there. If you do want to go out there and mix a little bit of something in with something, which there's nothing wrong with that, make sure you're getting what you want though. Make sure that there's different strands out there that are going to provide more for your deer. And there's some out there, there's no nutritional value, even though they might eat it. It's going to go in one end and out the other because they cannot process it fully to what they need. So where they can store it. But let's see what else is on here. I'm just rattling off the head here, guys. Sorry about that. I've had that question about 4 or 5 times this last week. So I thought I'd just throw it out there. Mike, if you spray for weeds and grasses before I mow my clover next time, can I spray for weeds and grasses at the same time, or should I spray at different times? If you need to spray for both, bud, if you're using something like clethodim and the 2,4-DB, the Boot Rack 200 or something like that, you want to spray at least 5 to 7 days apart. If you're using IMOX, you can spray it at the same time. You are going to spray at times because it's already together. it's a herbicide that will actually kill the grass and the weeds out of it. Where the cleth only do the grass, the 2,4-DB is only going to do the weeds. So, but I like spraying them 5 to 7 days apart, so you don't put too much strain on them clovers and alfalfas. Mark, you're exactly right. Antler King has done all the work for you, the right mix, the right application. You're exactly right. I mean, a lot of people don't realize the testing that goes in on this stuff to see how plants grow together. Plants don't like growing together. You got to get it just right, or you're just going to have a disaster. That's why a lot of times, I don't know if I got any up here or not, the grade 8. Yeah, the grade 8. There's 4 years right there before we could ever put it on the market. We had to plant for 4 different years just because all 8 different varieties, you had to get them percentages of each one just right. And if not, they would compete with each other and you'd never get the tonnage out of them or the sweetness out of them and the nutritional value that you should. So there's a lot that goes into that, a lot more than people think. Have an awesome clover strip that I thought about tearing out to go to brassicas in the fall. Is it a good idea to plant brassicas behind it or right into it? If you're thinking about tearing out a brassica plot, hold on a minute. Now a clover plot to plant brassicas, I do it every year. Number one, it saves on fertilizer. So them clovers are putting a lot of nitrogen in there. So then brassicas are going to thrive on it. So I myself, I will go in and now if I'm drilling in, I'll drill right into the clover. But if I'm broadcasting, I'll kill the clover off. Every single brassica plot that I have, which I rotate mine, but every brassica plot that I have, I always plant clover in it in the spring of the year, just for the number one, I want to give the deer something to eat, and so that plot is sitting there empty and growing up in weeds and grasses. And number two, that clover feeds the soil and helps mend that soil, which then them brassicas thrive off of. You're welcome, Scott. Anytime, bub. All right, guys, got any more questions? Well, Rick, do you prefer to spray the cleth or the 2,4-DB first? I spray, the first one that I do is the one I have the most issue with. The 2,4-DB is a little faster select herbicide, as in the killing aspect of it. The clethodim is very, very slow release agent. So if I see that I'm starting to get some grasses in there, I'll try to get the grass killer on first. But if I see the broadleafs are worse than the grass, I'll do the broadleaf first. So it just really depends on which one is trying to overtake the plot over the other one. So Mark Coleman, good to see you on here, buddy. You take care, man. Scott, you're right. Everything comes with challenges. You know, it's this year was kind of funny. This was the first year that I ever planted or ever had an issue with a barricade strip. And I know what my problem was, but I thought I could cheat it just a little bit. Because of being on the road so much, I had a little window to plant barricade on this one area that I wanted to get in. Ground temp wasn't quite 60 degrees, but it is in that 56, 57. And I'm like, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and plant it. Pray that it warms up. Well, you know, we got a few weeks of some cooler weather, didn't warm up the way it is, and I'll tell you what, there ain't probably, I don't know, I bet you there ain't 15 plants in this 60-foot area that even came up. I actually had to work it up, redo it, and within a week I had green carpet coming up. It's just me trying to do something I know I shouldn't do, but when you're limited to time, you just got to do strange things. And it's the first time I ever had a failure on barricade, and it's just go back in, do it over again. That's just a challenge you play with. It's like you said, everything has its challenges. And I had to laugh at myself because I was cussing myself, and the wife was with me. And she's like, well, what would Robie Pruitt tell a customer if they called in about this? I'm like, well, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. So it's it's fun though. That's how you learn. I mean, I've never planted barricade unless it being at least a 60-degree ground temp until this year. I found out that's why you don't do it. So that's why anybody calls in to me or anything like that and they talk about barricade, especially, I'll tell them, do not plant it until it hits that 60-degree mark. Don't do it. And I'll really tell them now because I got proof and I got the photos to prove it. Jason, good to see you on here, bud. Yeah, you've been out planting all day. Everybody and their brother is planting today. I got guys blowing my phone up right now. And before I even got down here, sending me pictures of plots they're trying to get in before all this rain comes in tomorrow. Gary, good to see you on here, bud. I have a half of a bag of Slam Dunk. What do you recommend mix with that? Well, when it comes to Slam Dunk, I'm always mixing Honey Hole with my Slam Dunk. Honey Hole and Slam Dunk, to me, is the best plot you can have. And if it wasn't for us selling both of them, I'd mix it and put it in one bag. It's the best. So I would definitely go with Honey Hole. That's going to give you a lot more late season food. The Slam Dunk's going to give you the early and mid season. Perfect. I hear you, Jason. I'll tell you what, the rain here, it just won't quit raining, which I'm not even worried about saying that anymore because I know we're going to go into a drought. We'll be in a drought here in a few weeks and we won't see rain till October. But man, it's been a wet one, but the plots are fabulous, looking great. Everything's green as a gourd. The deer are hammering them, and a lot of mowing going on. Them clover plots they're flowering about every 2 to 3 weeks right now with all this rain. They're just exploding, and that's the new plots as well. Well, you guys got any more questions for me on here? We kind of ran through everything. More than happy to answer some questions here. Okay, go back through here and make sure I didn't miss anybody. Yeah, looks like we're good there. Oh, Scott, you got 2 bucks with both of them got bad front legs. Neighbors are possibly bad shots. Yeah, that very well could be, bud. Very well could be. I hate seeing that though. Much as I'm a deer hunter and I love to shoot deer and I love to track them and blood trail them, I love doing it all. But I hate seeing one being wounded. It just drives me nuts. Jason, you got some barricade that's 2 years old, some seed. You won't see a difference in the germination on it, bud. It'd be just fine, as long as which you already know. You'd know if it drew moisture or not because it'd be a rotten bag. If it doesn't draw moisture, man, that seed would go. You could plant that seed in 6-7 years and not know a difference in the germination rate. It's so small. Good deal, Scott. Yeah, sick your grandson on him. He'll get them deer. Jeff John, having a heck of a time getting my barricade started. How long should I wait to retry seeding? I'm usually about 6 weeks. After 6 weeks, I would you pretty much know something's up. As long as you're getting the moisture, Jeff, and good to see you on here, bud. I was just by your house the other day. If you're getting if you got the plenty moisture, you got the nitrogen to it, and you're having an issue there, I would, after 6 weeks, I would definitely be looking into replanting. All right, give me something else, guys. If not, we're going to jump off here. Got any more questions? Now's the time to do her. All right, man. I think we're just going to jump off here for the night. We'll be back here in a couple of weeks and get another topic going. Got some questions? Write them down. Make sure you ask me, and we'll get her going, guys. I appreciate you being on here tonight, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.